getting here, but it is delicious. Please help yourself throughout the program. With that, I would now like to invite Assemblymember Charles Fall to begin our program in the best of ways with a recitation from the Holy Quran.
And in the last few months, he was forced to watch, because of no choice, the cricket matches. Can you imagine what must have gone through his mind? And the clumsy cricket matches which we are going through, the champion of cricket forced to watch all that. So that's all he can see. He doesn't get newspapers, and he doesn't get information from, he's not allowed visits. He's allowed 20-minute visits with his family, sometimes another 20 or 30 minutes, sometimes for a whole month he's not allowed visits. So what I am talking about, number one, is the misery in which Imran Khan is there, but he's stronger today. ज़्यादा ताकतवर है, ज़्यादा मजबूत है, बहुत अहमियत है, उसका विजन खुल गया, उसके दिमाग, उसकी closeness with the Quran, his closeness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been much more now than he had the time to relate with his Creator. I think that's the greatest opportunity. They've done a disservice to themselves, the cruel people have done disservice to themselves by arresting and keeping him in prison. But anyhow, the other thing which I want to talk about is the fact that the freedom of the people of Pakistan to get together, to be able to protest peacefully, that is what I believe. My constitution allows me to talk about it throughout the world. The Charter of the United Nations allows me to talk about it throughout the world. So, the freedom of Imran Khan is my responsibility in Pakistan. I am not asking anybody in the United States for that. What you do, what you request to the government is your domain, but it's not mine. My domain is just to educate you what's happening in Pakistan. My domain is to educate the international institutions and the world about the misery which Pakistani people are going through regarding human rights, etc., and the suppression of the media. Media is totally finished. You can't see Twitter because Twitter is banned in Pakistan. This is a Pakistan which, along what happened in Constantinople is happening in Pakistan. For 2 years, we shut down YouTube. Did you know that? Imagine, for 2 years, Pakistan did not have YouTube. The education industry, for example, and the IT world, which is working in Pakistan, did not have YouTube for 2 or 3 years. We shut down Wikipedia because it contained something which we did not like. We sent people, the kids who are working in the social media, we send a policeman. We have tools of bygone era to counter the tools which are evolving in the world today, the technology tools of today. We send a policeman to shut him up. We beat the guy up. We imprison these youngsters. We torture these youngsters to stop taking part in social media and showing the world what is really happening. So those are the two things which I wanted to inform you about, which are happening in Pakistan. Now, the good news. The good news is that in the history of that region, let me improve upon that. In the history of the Muslim world, an exceptional thing is happening. An outstanding thing which is happening. Women of Pakistan have stood up. It's unique. It has never happened in the Muslim world in this manner. The women of Pakistan have stood up. Remarkable. They have been beaten up on the streets. They have been dragged with their hair. Their dupatta has been taken off their heads. They have been beaten up in their homes. Their children have been kidnapped. For the 26th Amendment to have been passed, the children of the members were beaten up, and their audio was, the voters were made to hear those audios to be able to be forced to vote for the 26th Amendment. And for those of you who do not understand what the 26th Amendment is about, it was about primarily, let me give you one portion of that. 26th Amendment, because the Supreme Court was evenly balanced, the 26th Amendment, and the Supreme Court had, according to the Constitution of Pakistan, had 15 or 16 members, but it was usually about 12 or 13 at a time. That Supreme Court now has 35 members. It has been skewed totally into a pro-government Supreme Court.
Shame.
See, the Muslims, did you know, all of you, the most enterprising Muslims here, and this I'm quoting from a book by a Muslim author who probably from University of Chicago by the name of Wael Hallaq. Wael Hallaq has written a book on the impossible state. The impossible state. In the impossible state, this is a very peculiar angle of Islam which I am going to quote to you. Very peculiar angle of Islam. He says that the laws of Islam evolved from the laws of the Quran which God gave, which are not changeable but open to interpretation. Then the Prophet's Sunnah and the Ahadith which have quoted that Sunnah, and the Khulafa Rashidin who lived according to what the Prophet said, but they were openly interpreting things which did not happen in the Prophet's time alongside the principles of the Quran and Sunnah. This was the law of Islam. And in Medina, please keep in mind, Medina was a community, and the Prophet ﷺ was a leader of a community participating in the welfare of the community. Only. Welfare, justice, women were being buried, killed, capture and elite capture of the economy, elite capture of everything. And there's a good book, The Revelation, by an American author, Meraj Moyubi. And he talks about contemporary situations which was happening in the time in Medina. And the Prophet was leading us like Jesus. You see, Jesus was a leader of the community. Jesus was a leader who fed the community. For him, one fish and one loaf of bread was through which Allah did a miracle on Jesus, that he fed 3,000 people. So the prophets were there as part of communities. It is only one or two prophets on whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala entrusted them with states and kingdoms like Hazrat Sulaiman. But otherwise, the prophets came in the community and built the community. So let me tell you, so Medina was a community responsibility, but when the Prophet migrated to Makkah, numbers increased. When numbers increase, you organize. When numbers are only these few hundred people here, you have 10 people whom Dr. Effendi thanked here, because then that's a community which is organizing itself to do something. If there are two people, there's just a question, do you want to go to New York for a visit, or do you want to go to Boston for a visit? So it can happen like this, But when he came to Medina, it was a state to be organized. So what Wael Hallaq says, and this is important for you to understand, that what laws of Pakistan and the Muslim world have evolved into. So Wael Hallaq says that the Muslim laws evolved in the community. The states, the Muslim kingdoms and the Muslim rulers never dictated laws. The laws were the Mufti's interpretation throughout these 1200 years, 1300 years, on any incident. For example, a murder is committed. The Quran says murder, the punishment for murder is this, but there are 10 types of different murders. Someone committed a murder to defend himself, someone committed a murder on hire, someone committed a murder because he was in a fight, it happened accidentally. There are 10 or 20 different circumstances in which murder took place. So the Mufti interpreted the spirit of Islam, and from the spirit of Islam he gave his verdict. So the volumes of the Mufti's verdict came up. No Muslim kingdom ever described the laws. The laws, the nation state after the Westphalian order in Europe, the nation state came around, and therefore the laws came. So in Pakistan, I would just ask a question, and I want you to be able to defend yourself, because this is the biggest challenge which comes, that Pakistan is an Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Those who want to increase Islamophobia, they talk about the theocracy, that Pakistan is probably a theocracy. Pakistan was never a theocracy. Pakistan will never be a theocracy. And PTI, Imran Khan's vision and description of what Pakistan should be like was in 4 words. Pakistan should be a modern, Islamic, welfare state. All 4 words were described in great detail. Modern, you understand. Islamic, taking the ethos and character and justice, ideas of justice from Islamic history, welfare, like Hazrat Umar's time, and other times, the welfare aspect of Islam. You know, the first surah, the second surah of Quran, you know, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes does He want from you. You see, I believe very strongly that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not create us to pray to Him. Because every particle on this rostrum, every grain prays to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He created humanity to make them care for each other. You see, so the first Alif Lam Mim Zalikal Kitabu La Rayba Fi, the Hudal Muttaqin, that this book does not have any untruth in it. Yuminuna bil ghaibi, ghaib par iman lao, believe in whatever is hidden and revealed to you through the Prophet. وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ, and establish namaz, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَا, and believe in what has come to you, the Prophet, and what has come to you before you, and وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. He describes it immediately, you know, you give to people from the food that Allah provides you. वो तो wealth तो बात की बात है. You are rich people here. Wealth comes later. As soon as you are able to eat and drink, that you care for your people. So that is the ethos which Imran Khan brought about. अच्छा, इस गुफ्तगू के साथ आप मैं तो distract होता रहा. I have so much to talk to you about. Let's come back to what happened and what am I expecting from you. एक तो I am expecting that Pakistan is going through a serious situation today. Why? Serious situation in Balochistan. Why is it happening? You see, the party which could have united the country was not allowed to be elected. Now take this example only to Balochistan. मैं बाकी जगहों की बात नहीं कर रहा. Just take it to Balochistan. What happened in Balochistan? And I just narrated. Sadiq Sanjrani was the Senate chairman from Balochistan. He decided to contest on the provincial assembly seat from some place. And he told me that I got elected, and I know how he got elected. He says, I got elected. But over me, the MNA that was, in Urdu I narrated, एक छोकरे को खड़ा कर दिया PTI ने. छोकरा, unknown young boy, एक छोकरे को खड़ा कर दिया. और डॉक्टर साहब आपको मालूम है उसको कितने वोट पड़े? 30,000 वोट पड़ गए उस छोकरे को. So imagine what was happening in Balochistan. Had the February 8 elections been accepted, PTI would have formed the government, and the misery of the people of Balochistan, having gone through so much deprivation, would have come through the sound and the voice of the youth of Baloch youth who had been elected from Balochistan. Today that's not happening. We have told the youth of Balochistan that your vote is immaterial, and therefore some of them can pick arms, and that's a dangerous thing which can happen. So I believe Pakistan has gone through a regime change for a situation which you all know. Pakistan went through a regime change, and that the biggest disservice was happened that because of that regime change, the evolution in Pakistan has slowed down. So I said the women have risen up. Dusri cheez, that the popularity of Imran Khan is at 90%. Remarkable. It's popularity. You can't do opinion surveys in Pakistan. Do you know that? Nobody is allowed to do opinion surveys because the opinion surveys will show the real thing. So everything has to be stopped. The social media, everything. Those of you who are interested in what is happening and what dictators do, even read the book by Yuval Noah Harari, which is Nexus. It talks about how dictators close down every source of information so the people should not be aware, and how social media may be corrupting and how to manage it, not the way it is happening. So 92%. Achha, let me take you back to Muslim history. In the Quran, there are few prophets who went through their lives with a handful of disciples. It is a God's given grace to Prophet ﷺ that he led people in great numbers. And he was the happiest man. Can you imagine at his last khutbah, at his last Hajj, he had, according to estimates, there were 100,000 people at the last, and he was a very happy man. So the strength which people look at, in fact, Hazur Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's hadith says, to show the people that the Muslims are strong, he says, go to the mosque on each day from one route and come with the other route to impress people that we have the numbers and we are strong. So numbers are always important. Charles, numbers are always important.
Yes.
And everywhere I met a lot of congressmen and senators during my visit, and all of them asked me, what is the feeling of the Pakistani diaspora, because they're interested in numbers, And one senator said, no, one congressman said, he mentioned the fact that he wants to hear both sides, and both sides may be evenly divided, and I said, no, they're not evenly divided, that's a mistake. One side doesn't even have any arguments, doesn't have any people, and the other side is at 90% at least. So the two things I mentioned, one was women, and one was 90% people following a leader. Can you think of any leader in the last 30 years who has 90% following in the world? Nobody. So the right ingredients are there. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you the good news, that the right ingredients are there. Pakistan can very quickly come through a phenomenal change. Right ingredients are there. So what is hindering that? You know what is hindering that? That is my responsibility when I go to Pakistan. To make you aware, to make the international community aware of what is happening. But the government in Pakistan should be changed by people in Pakistan. One, I do not believe that any other government or any other country should have the right to interfere in my country. One. The second thing is, when we think about change, I still think that change is possible with negotiations. Because I am afraid that if change comes through violence, violence is not a solution. If change comes through violence, in fact the French Revolution is a good example of what happened, because a lot of heads were chopped off, and then within 10 years the direction of revolution was lost. So violence when the country there is so much happening in various times, I'm not sure that violence may create a schism in Pakistan. So I believe even today that rather than violence, there should be negotiation between the usurpers and the real heirs to the people's will. So that's a practical thing. But I've been trying to help negotiate. I've been trying to negotiate. I've been exchanging, thinking that people will read books. I've been exchanging books for them to read. There's a good book when you get stuck, what to do. And I read it for myself, There's Paul Adams' book on Think Again. And I gave it to the top 5 guys of Pakistan, including Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif. But lo and behold, ये तो ये पढ़ते नहीं हैं। और उसके आगे क्या रहा? कोशिश भी नहीं करते। So that was such a serious disappointment to me. When somebody would give me a book, the next time, I think if he has read it, he will tell me, the book you gave me, I this and that. So when nobody mentions the fact, after I presented a book, so I'm sure he didn't read it. So it's useless even to ask him, did you read the book? It would embarrass him, So I gave, and what that book, because I wanted, they're stuck in a place. So first I tweeted, if you're stuck in a hole, at least stop digging. Common sense, गड्ढे में है और आप खोदते चले जाएं deeper and deeper into that hole. So I suggested that. Then the Think Again, that Paul Adams describes two things, keep your mind open to fresh knowledge to be able to change your decision, and remain humble to where you are. Remain humble. Humble means that you are not there because of your skills and your smartness. You are there because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala paved the way for you to be there. If you don't have the humility, you will not learn anything because you are smart enough to go there. You are depending on your own mind. You are not open. Be humble. So it was easy for me to humble because I was an accidental president. Do you know that? I didn't want to be the president. And Imran Khan told me that Dr. Sahib, you should be the speaker. So So I said I wanted the Ministry of IT because I was so fond of IT. I said fine, I will be the speaker, and I convinced my wife that I would be the speaker, and she said you should have a ministry. Speaker doesn't have any powers, but I told her that's what Khan wants. She's always believed that I don't think for myself what Imran Khan tells me to do, I'll do it. She thought I am becoming a speaker, and for political reasons somebody else was made the speaker. She flew from Karachi. I was becoming a speaker. She landed in Islamabad. Somebody else had become the speaker. And as soon as somebody else was made the speaker, Imran Khan told me, asked me, Dr. Saab, whatever ministry you want, or I would like you to become the president of Pakistan. So I thought, जो मिल रहा है वो ले लो. So I said, fine, I'll be the president of Pakistan. And then I told my wife, she said, see, you again made a mistake. This is not where you should have been. And she was very angry. It took me about a week's time to tell her that this may be a worthwhile promotion to her. And then, of course, we worked hard there. But anyhow, so I am telling you that kind of rethinking, I've been forcing myself, asking again and again. And imagine Imran Khan, who loves the country, who would give his life for the country anytime, and who is braving even an assassination attempt, or braving being in jail all the time. He has asked for that negotiations probably 20 or 30 times. And he's always been rejected. And he has not made it an issue of dignity. That I don't want. Now you rejected me, I don't want to negotiate. He still says, because that's my house. If my house, if usurpers are in my house, I will do anything to make them leave my house. So negotiation is the only way out. And I believe there is tremendous hope. The last thing I want to close, because I want to hear your questions. Last thing I want to close. What do I want from you? By reaching out to your alma mater, and so many organizations are doing tremendous work. But it has to be more structured. I want you, for example, who can teach, mentor classes of the final years of their professional schools, whether it's engineering or IT or whatever, to mentor classes. I want those specialists who are involved in bachelor's teaching and fellowship training to mentor this. And I've been in contact with Apna Dental, I've been in contact with the Silicon Valley, I've been in contact with the University of Michigan, which is my alma mater, and from there I encourage, for example, I encourage the University of Michigan to become a partner of a university or a number of universities in Pakistan. And they have decided to be. And I'm already, मैंने उनके रिश्ते तलाश कर लिए. You see, मतलब मुल्तान में there was a medical hospital जो 450 beds का है, उनके जो मालिकान हैं वो फातिमा फर्टिलाइजर वाले लोग हैं, फातिमा ग्रुप. They were in Boston with Samina's friend, because Samina has been doing work with a lot of them on breast cancer awareness, on mental health, on women empowerment and persons with disabilities, and their family works with Samina on that. And I mentioned to them, and they said, we want that relationship to happen with Fatma Group and the medical hospital they have there. Then an IT guy in Dallas who's opening up an IT university in Rahim Yatna, he said, we want that relationship to happen. So this is just one example. I can tell you of 10 examples since I'm in the US, that people like you would like that road to be built for you to be able to cooperate with Pakistan. And in Pakistan also, we have to bring that acceptability. What you want to impart in Pakistan, there has to be an acceptability or a sponge-like situation to absorb that. Pakistan can jump into the new world very fast. It takes 5 or 6 years. Education and health indicators are what China changed tremendously between 1990 and 2000. And the world thought that China was sleeping. But China changed because of that know-how and that intellect. So I have great hopes in Pakistan, and so have you. I have come here to encourage you. I have come here to stimulate you. I have come here to carry inspiration from Imran Khan to you, to carry, you love your country, and you, all of you are seeking what you can do. So beyond charity, there's a different world. You see, what you can do in charity is probably, in Dallas somebody stood up and said, Sadar Saab, we in the diaspora in the last 15 or 20 years have done about $100 million of charity in Pakistan. I said fantastic, but I said, gentlemen, in this house, on that day, I see billions of dollars of intellectual know-how in this very hall. And we are hungry for that. We are waiting for that. So that's the shortcut of when Imran Khan comes back.
Inshallah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I may have been distracted, but I will be here to answer the sharp question which you must have prepared.
Jazakallah khair, Dr. Alvi. Another round of applause, please. That if you have questions, please line up in the middle aisle, and Dr. Azam will hand you the mic. For those who cannot make their way to the aisle, please raise your hand. I know we have some elders in the crowd, and Dr. Azam can bring the microphone to you. But we have a fair amount of time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Ji.
Sir, I have a very simple and humble question.
Thank you.
When you were president, you have all the authorities to pardon Imran Khan. So what was stopping you to do that?
Very good. That's a very good question. I would like to answer it in a very clear situation. Number one is you people should understand part of the Pakistan Constitution. It is like the president is a symbolic head of state with limited powers. But the Constitution says the president can do this, the president can do this, but it also clarifies the fact what the president can do this means what? Means the Prime Minister will ask the president to do this and he has to do this. So in that way, it's like the Queen of England. Queen of England doesn't appoint anybody, doesn't appoint the Prime Minister, doesn't appoint ministers, doesn't execute any situation. But still, as the Constitution says that the President of Pakistan can pardon, I took that as a word which I should do. Exactly what you feel. So I sent a message to Mr. Imran Khan through two gentlemen. Ji, thank you very much. I can stand. Now that you have brought it, it will be wrong of me not to sit on it.
Consulting your wife.
Thank you very much, brother.
Keep on, brother.
So I communicated to him through Barrister Ali Zafar because Imran Khan, there was continuous communication while I was president, except for one moment in time. But there was continuous communication because I wanted to resign from the presidency. And Mr. Imran Khan said, no, he wants me there in the presidency. I said, there's tremendous pressure. There things will be done, which I will have to not own, but because the president cannot bring any change. If the parliament passes a bill, it is deemed to have been signed. Reject, I reject, or don't reject. So I communicated to him that I want to pardon. I want to issue a pardon. And the gentleman who took it was a lawyer. He took it to him and he asked me, what do you think personally? The lawyer asked me, what do you think personally? So I said, personally, I believe that Imran Khan has 200 cases. I will pardon him on 3, which have been decided. What happens to the 197? Okay? So they will embroil him in the rest of 197 and my pardon will be just mocked by people. 1. Number 2, why should I pardon somebody who has not done any crime? 2. Very important. And I told him, when you go to Imran Khan, don't mention my opinion to him. Just ask him that Dr. Alvi wants to pardon because he's the president and he can pardon. I thought the laws do not allow me, but I still can because the law also says I can. So I didn't want to go into the legal interpretation of that. So I said I want to. And when the lawyer took the proposal to Mr. Imran Khan, he said, Alvi kya keh raha hai? Typical of him. तो उन्होंने कहा जी अलवी ने ये कहा था कि पहले आप फैसला कर ले फिर I will tell you what he's saying. तो Imran Khan said, I have not committed a crime. I don't want to be pardoned. I want to go through the judicial process. What pardon? You know, pardon for a crime. So he refused.
The social media is the question of Balochistan, where we are heading. And obviously this is a series of events that have taken more than 20 years to reach where we are now. Unfortunately, it looks like that we are applying the same rules that we did in Chevaldi Field. So we know what should be done. What, in your opinion, given the environment, can be done at this time? And we're talking about the short-term, time period here, because it does look like we have too much time before it becomes irreversible. Thank you.
Now, Balochistan has forced me to change my opinion because I thought we will bring change on the streets. Balochistan has forced me to move more again towards negotiations. Why? Because while we are on the street, anything in a schism which can happen within the country, anything can happen. So therefore, it's very difficult to say anything today. We are, after Mengal Sahib, if you remember, the biggest jalsa that turned around the fortunes of Pakistan was in 2011 in Lahore, 31st October or something. And by Imran Khan and I, we were flying to China on the invitation of the Communist Party to see how things work in China. And on our way back, we went to meet Akhtar Mengal, particularly in Balochistan, in Dubai. He was in partial self-exile in Dubai. And we urged him to come to Pakistan. And when in Pakistan we got elected in 2018, so we had a alliance with him. And he mentioned missing persons as the main thing which the government of PTI would have to solve. With Shiri Mazari, he had a list of 2,000 people, out of which probably 500 were not really missing or whatever. And Shiri Mazari, a human rights minister, was very concerned. 500 were released during PTI's government in Balochistan. So there was some goodwill, but still some bad will. And when regime change happened, there are a lot of people who went away from us. And imagine, I asked Mr. Imran Khan, sorry, I'll deflect away from your question. I asked Mr. Imran Khan not to resign and go out of the assembly. And I asked him not to give up the dissolve the Punjab assembly. And I asked him not to dissolve the KP assembly. But lo and behold, he did all that. He walked away with a notebook. Who does that? You see? And when somebody asked me in Islamabad, in my second last month in governance, did Imran Khan ne kuch sikha? Did Imran Khan learn anything? I asked him all these three things, he didn't do that, but I have learned something. So he said, what have you learned? And I said, I learned that I'm not right in every situation, people are right. I learned that what Imran Khan decided was loved by the people. What Arif Alvi is not an intellectual of that sort. Whatever the people say, I was right. You see, that kind of attitude actually drives you into a corner. Imran Khan made all the decisions which came to him despite advice. Sorry, aapko question and then I'll come back to the other thought which came to me. I'll pick it up in another question. So I believe it's a very difficult task. That's why I'm very desperate. In fact, I'm desperate to go back now. I'm half sure that I will be arrested. But still, I think I have to be in Pakistan now.
Just talk about negotiation. Whom do you want to negotiate with?
Those who, you see, if you are coming into this building for any reason, and you will ask for the way, you will ask somebody who knows the way. No? So if you are going to buy a property, you will ask somebody who owns the property, or somebody who can link you to the guy who owns the property. And if you are going to talk to the gardener outside about a property to be sold, I think it is fine, we can waste our time. But the people who are making the decisions, for example, let me take the name of MGF. Didn't get any seat in Karachi. Not a single seat. They got 1,700 votes or something. It was built up to 1,700, was changed into 17,000, then with another zero it was changed to 170,000. Two zeros made the change.
Shame.
So, are they worth talking to? They don't have any decision making power. You talk to the person or the entity which has decision making power. So, to tick a box, because people say that you talk to the political parties. So, Imran Khan is talking to the political party. He opened up a dialogue with the government party, didn't yield anything. They could not deliver on a single issue. So, I think the people who usurp power, I think the establishment is the right group to talk to also. Ji.
Mr. President, welcome to Pakistan, but I'm a disgruntled neighbor from Indian side of Kashmir. And my question is, when you were in power, thanks to Dr. Fundi actually, he got me into the politics of Pakistan because of Imran Khan, and I've been, a fan of him for a long time growing up as a kid. And then when he came in power, I watched you also through this whole process of your government, and you ran a marvelous job there, the education and everything. And when you mentioned, in your speech, the negotiation, talking to people and discussing with people. I think that's a great idea. But you also tried that when you were in power. And I didn't really see a whole lot of results, and obviously the situation and circumstances everybody knows. And right now there are some forces there, people are negotiating, trying to negotiate, and some people, and Imran Khan said, I think probably the outside street should be wound up a little bit. So what is your thought in terms of negotiation? And I think Dr. Zain stole my question, but how would you initiate that, and how would you take a second step, in the streets, and what would be the parameters that, okay, we're going to negotiate this, and from there on, we're going to take a different step.
Okay, let us think on the side, from the other side's brain. What are they thinking? They're probably thinking that another few years in power, we will be able to change public opinion towards ourselves. Has it happened? It has gotten worse. It didn't happen. It got worse. I think Imran Khan was popular, 75% popularity on the day of the election. He had maybe only 30% popularity when he walked out of the assembly, and that kept on changing. So that side, if it was thinking that another few years in government and we'll bring people to ourselves, that has not happened. So what is their concern today? They have convinced themselves, probably, I think, that Imran Khan is an evil man. Okay, fine. If Imran Khan is an evil man, what are you? They have stopped Imran Khan's interaction. It was told to me, but the highest levels of that regime, once upon a time, कि इमरान खान का नाम लेने वाला 25 साल में भी कोई नहीं रहेगा. तो जब when Imran Khan got elected, तो मैंने उन्हीं साहब को बुलाया. मैंने कहा जी वो 25 साल पूरे हो गए. So I have tried asking them, I have tried telling them, I have tried spoken. Imran Khan has spoken about it, but a surgeon always thinks through the knife. An internist would always think through medicine as a first approach to things. People the forces will always think through pressure and do more. What happened with United States and Afghanistan is do more. They tried to do more. They didn't understand the culture. Doing more is no solution. So I believe, I hope, don't believe, I hope that good sense prevails, and I don't know what will happen. और मैंने ऐसी मजाकिया कहा था कि he has all the answers.
Regarding the same negotiations that you were talking about, main thing is on what terms, because we don't want him, it would be very unfair when Imran Khan spend like 3 years, almost 2 years in jail, and then leave the jail on the terms that would be perceived by people same like a deal that Nawaz Sharif did, and lowered his platelets and went.
I assure you, Imran Khan will not make a deal. One, Imran Khan will evaluate something, whatever in the name of negotiations which is happening. Imran Khan trusts his people. Even what episode has happened recently, Imran Khan trusts people to try whatever they want to do. But the real negotiations would be on. Let us loudly think what real negotiation would be. Real negotiations could be on the fact that will he take revenge? He doesn't have the personality to take revenge, right? The real negotiations could be that whether Form 45 government is established, there's so much which has happened on those votes that I don't think the original votes are still there to be counted. So maybe a new election can happen. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the elections were so badly skewed on February 8 that today, for example, the army doesn't interfere in the election. For example, do you think the election will be fair? Every returning officer will be making crores of rupees. Every presiding officer will be making crores of rupees. People like me have no chance because everything will be working on corruption. They've seen how to do it. They will do it again. So I have a proposal which I worked on and which wasn't allowed to happen, is the electronic voting machine, which can be prepared within 6 months, which will probably put up a better and fair election process in place. So it's a difficult thing which will happen. Where will we go? Electronic voting machine, ours was very simple. It's a simple calculator, it's not complicated. You touch a button on your calculator, calculator counts. So you touch a button on a symbol, which can be a tiger or which can be a bat. And what happens? That calculator counts, not sophisticated, not linked to the Wi-Fi, not linked to any corruption. And a printout comes in your hand of the symbol you put in. You look at the printout, you fold that paper and put it in the ballot box. So two things have happened. That the ballot box has all the things which you saw, put it in, and there's a count which has happened here. So that just adds a major area of accuracy in the process. And it can be done in 4 or 5 months, 6 months at the most. So that the courts of law grant him freedom rather than the pen, on a deal he gets free.
That's good.
Assalamualaikum. So I was just wondering, like, when you were president, as constitutionally you were the supreme commander, right? So you should have
Always brought me a smile whenever the chief of army staff would tell me, "Sir, you are our supreme commander."
No, but you should have known, right, that the generals hold all the power.
Yeah.
So did you do anything to diminish their power while you were president?
The president has no power to diminish anybody's power. It's the parliament which diminishes power. It's the parliament which handles that. The president, what is happening within the president's office was the fact that the president did not sign 2 bills. You remember? President did not sign 2 bills, and did not signing the bills coming from the National Assembly means that the president did not approve it, the bill goes back. And I waited, in my smartness, I waited that if I sign it or reject it, before the parliament is dissolved, they will call the full parliament and pass the Official Secrets Act, which will punish Imran Khan and Shah Mahmood and Asad Umar and everybody, along with the new laws, and the Pakistan Army Act when military trials take place. So I did not sign it while the parliament while the assembly was in session. I waited because I had those 14 days to hold the bill. And as soon as the parliament was dissolved on the 10th day, I sent these 2 bills back. I have done hundreds of bills. I've sent them back, I've signed them, but I don't go to the post office myself. See, it's your system, in your offices. In the president's office, did I expect that they will hide those bills? So after 5-6 days, my son called me on Friday and he said, "Abba, we've heard that you signed the bills." I said, "No, I did not. It will be evident in a few days." And on Sunday, I get this from the papers that the president has been deemed to have signed those bills. You see, deemed to have signed those bills should have only is the word used in constitution when the parliament, the entire parliament, Senate and Assembly pass a bill, then the parliamentary system of government does not want the president to interfere in the prime minister's power. Then it is deemed to have been signed. Even if I rejected it, it will be deemed to have been signed. So the presidential powers are not existent in a manner which challenges executive authority. So I could not.
क्वेश्चन आपसे 2 हैं मेरे। एक तो ये है कि आपकी स्पीच से हमें ये मतलब मुझे एटलीस्ट ये लगा है कि آپ نے دل و جان سے اس 545 فارم 45 کی گورنمنٹ کو ایکسیپٹ کر لیا، جبھی تو آپ ان کے لیے رشتے ڈھونڈتے پھر رہے ہیں.
فارم 45 نہیں، فارم 47.
فارم 47 سوری. اچھا فارم 45 ہے یہ جو اچھا 47. اچھا دوسرا کوشچن ڈاکٹر یہ ہے کہ
میں نے ایکسیپٹ کر لیا. یہ کیا
ہمیں یہ لگ رہا ہے کہ آپ جبھی تو رشتے ڈھونڈ رہے ہیں.
اوکے، آپ کا سوال یہی ہے، ٹھیک ہے.
تو دوسرا یہ کوشچن میرا بیسیکلی یہ ہے کہ کیا ہوا 24 نومبر 22 کو کہ آپ نے اسی دن اس کو سائن کر کے اپروو کر دیا پرائم منسٹر کی جو سمری ہے ایکسٹینشن آف جنرل آسم منیر. مطلب ون
ٹھیک ہے،
کیا ہو جاتا ہے؟
میں آپ کو بتا رہا ہوں، ہے نا. یہ ایک تو سمری سے شروع کرنا ہے. فارم 45 والا سوال آسان ہے نا، سمری سے شروع کرنا ہے. یہ سمری جب اس میں عمران خان صاحب کے ساتھ مسلسل کنسلٹیشن میں ہوں ایوری ڈے، ٹھیک ہے. یہ عمران خان صاحب نے مجھ سے یہ کہا when he was sending me alone into the negotiations کہ بھائی regime change جو تم نے کیا ہے الیکشن جلدی کراؤ. تو I kept on negotiating on his behalf alone and سچ تمہارا شاہ محمود قریشی ایٹسٹرا ایٹسٹرا. تو عمران خان صاحب نے مجھ سے کہا کہ ان کو یہ کہہ دو کہ he does not have any preferences کہ کون بنے کون نہیں بنے, which I communicated and Asad Umar and Shah Mahmood Qureshi are witnesses. Imran Khan has no preference. Imran Khan نے کہا ہے کہ جو بنے گا وہ فوج جس کو سلیکٹ کرے گی وہ آ جائے گا. پھر جب میں ان کا ایک ایگزیکٹو آرڈر ہے, انہوں نے یہ کیا کہ آصف منیر was going to retire on a certain date 2 days before, ٹھیک ہے نہیں. تو انہوں نے یہ کیا پرائم منسٹر وداؤٹ دا پریزیڈنٹس approval can make a lieutenant general into a general. اچھا جیسے ہی انہوں نے 2 دن پہلے یہ کیا تو انہوں نے فائل کا پیج اوپر بھر دیا آئیں گے. تو جب سمری میرے پاس آئی تو سمری سیکرٹ ہے, تو سمری میں یہی تھا کہ ان کا اپوائنٹمنٹ عاصم منیر کا ہو. تو میں نے اپنے ایم ایس کو کہا کہ سیکرٹ ہے, میں خان صاحب کو سمری نہیں دکھاؤں گا مگر اس کی رائٹنگ میں ساری لکھ لوں گا, ان کو وہ رائٹنگ دکھاؤں گا, not the summary itself because that's a top secret document, but you hold it, you take it because I need to consult the chief وہ جسٹس زاہد حسین میرے چیف لیگل ایڈوائزر تھے, ان سے لاہور میں نے کنسلٹ کرنا ہے. then I went to Mr. عمران خان. مسٹر عمران خان نے کوئی مجھے ان کو کچھ کہنے کی ضرورت نہیں پڑی, انہوں نے پہلے ہی سوچا ہوا تھا کہ جب یہ اپوائنٹمنٹ اس طرح سے آ گیا ہے تو he does not want to pick up confrontation anywhere. پہلے ہی وہ کہہ چکے تھے کہ جو آئے گا اس کو وہ اپروو کریں گے. تو یہ دس از دا ریالٹی. اب اس میں میرا اوپینین کیا ہے؟ میرا اس میں کوئی اوپینین نہیں ہے بیکاز دیٹ ہی از مائی لیڈر. ہی ڈیڈ واٹ ہی وانٹیڈ ٹو ڈو. مجھے لوگوں نے بعد میں پوچھا کہ کیا خان صاحب چاہتے تھے کہ عاصم منیر نہ بنے, تو میں نے تو سب کو یہ کہا کہ خان صاحب ہیڈ نو اوپینین. خان صاحب نے کہا تھا کہ جو آئے گا وہ اس میں وی ڈو ناٹ وانٹ ٹو انٹرفیئر ان دیٹ. اگر میرے پاس چوائس آئے گی تو آئی ول سیلیکٹ. یہ سیٹسفائڈ, مطلب دس از دا ریالٹی. چاہے آپ سیٹسفائی ہو نہ ہو, یہ از دا ریالٹی. اس کا فالو دوں بھائی, وہ کہہ رہا ہے نیگوشیشن ضروری ہے, میں بھی یہی کہہ رہا ہوں. تو کیا ہے عمران خان نے کیا فارم 47 یا 45 کی گورنمنٹ کو ایکسیپٹ کیا نہیں کیا, بٹ اسی گھر کے اندر آپ کے لوگ گھسے ہوئے ہیں, ان کو آپ نے راستہ دینا ہے تو اس کے لیے یا تو گراس روٹس کا موومنٹ چلائیں. اس سے مجھے خطرہ پیدا ہو گیا ہے, ٹھیک ہے, مگر چلے گا. دیکھو اگر نیگوشیشن نہیں ہوگی بیٹا, اٹ ول ہیپن. The grassroots movement will come around. Nobody can stop it. It's just a matter of time.
Great.
اور کچھ عرصے سے میں بھی یہاں پہ ہوں. میرا کوشچن یہ ہے کہ ہماری جو بھی آڈینس جو ہم بناتے ہیں, قانون بناتے ہیں یا یہاں پہ بنتا ہے وہ پولیٹیشین بناتے ہیں اور وہ ریوالو ہوتا ہے ان کی سرکمسٹانسز سے, ان کی سہولت سے. تو آپ یہ بتائیں کہ اب اس کا کیا حل ہوگا, کیونکہ یہ جو سارے کیسز عمران خان پہ آئے ہیں یہ سب ہم نے دیکھے ہیں کہ جو پہلے نہیں تھے, جو پہلے ایکسیپٹ کیے جاتے تھے گفٹس, ان کے اوپر تو ایسا تو خزانہ نہیں بنا. اور میں نے خود ایم اے پولیٹیکل سائنس کیا ہوا کہ ہمیں پتہ ہے کہ ہم لا کیا لا بنتا تھا سہولت کے لیے, جو یونان کے زمانے سے شروع ہوا. अरिस्टोटल ने शुरू की और उसमें सहूलत ये होती थी कि आपने अब हमको सहूलत देनी है लेकिन अब वो हर्डल होती है।
जी हाँ,
वो हर्डल होती है, वो किसी भी इस मुल्क में हो या उस मुल्क में या किसी मुल्क में भी वो हर्डल होती है। तो इसकी क्या रेमेडी है कि हम आगे फ्यूचर क्या देखते हैं? आगे फ्यूचर क्या है?
when laws are made to control and manage human hunger for power and to do evil things. Laws are made to manage power and to control humanity from doing evil things. Yeah? Acha, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the second last surah, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِالْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ. You pray that you are spared the shar of the evil that happens at night. At night, the evil does not mean it happens at night. Evil that happens in darkness, the evil which man can do when nobody can see them, that evil has happened in the church, has happened in the madrasa, everywhere it happens in the world today. What man can get away in hiding, whether it's corruption, taking money, taking bribes, harassing women, it happens. So laws are made to control all that. And when you talk about laws being made in Pakistan to manage and control things, there is an equal lobby on the other side which does not want these laws to be there. So there is a continuous battle. Even in the US, there is an exploitation of the elite and then an elite capture on taxes and wealth. You see, and laws are still trying to overcome that. So a human being has his intrinsic 3 or 4 qualities. If you keep that in mind, logic and rationalism is a... आप लोगों ने एक बात नहीं पूछी जो मैं बड़ा बेचैन हूँ करने के लिए, मगर सवाल को मैं करूँगा।
जी मिस्टर प्रेसिडेंट, मेरे 2 से 3 क्वेश्चन हैं। पहला क्वेश्चन मेरा ये है कि क्या आपको ऐसे लगता है कि आपने ड्यूरिंग योर प्रेसिडेंसी एंड आफ्टर आपको जो सर्व करना चाहिए था, जो आपके पास एक कलम की पावर थी पीटीआई के लिए, पीटीआई के एवरी सिंगल वर्कर के लिए, एवरी सिंगल पार्लियामेंट मेंबर्स के लिए, जो कि आपने जिस तरीके से दूसरी पार्टीज ने उनको मेंटली, फाइनेंशियली और कोई एक सिंगल बंदा नहीं छोड़ा जिनको उन्होंने टार्चर नहीं किया। इसकी डेप्थ बहुत लंबी है लेकिन मैं इसको शॉर्टकट में बता रहा हूँ। काइंडली इसके बारे में कुछ बताइएगा, और खान साहब के गिरफ्तारी के हवाले से भी, और कुछ आपके पास एक कलम की पावर थी एज एग्जेक्टिव ऑर्डर्स की, उस हवाले से भी, जो कि काफ़ी पैमाने पे लोगों को लगता है कि आपको जो सर्व करना चाहिए था वो नहीं किया। जी, एंड द सेकंड क्वेश्चन, सेकंड क्वेश्चन,
अगर काफी बातों से
जी, सेकंड क्वेश्चन है जी अली मीर गंडापुर के हवाले से, क्या आपको लगता है कि लास्ट जो उन्होंने जलसा किया उनको केपीकी का बॉर्डर क्रॉस करके इस्लामाबाद आना चाहिए था या नहीं? पहली चीज़। और दूसरी चीज़, जितने मिसिंग पर्सनस हैं, आया वो आज तक सामने क्यों नहीं आ सके, और उनकी डिटेल्स के बारे में ज़रा कुछ बताइएगा।
पहले तो आपने ये कहा कि मेरे पास एग्जेक्टिव पावर थी, ज़रा डिस्क्राइब कीजिएगा क्या पावर थी, क्योंकि मैंने अभी बताया। कौन सी पावर आप समझते हैं कि मुझे इस्तेमाल करनी चाहिए थी? I asked Imran Khan, I told you, and there are witnesses, Ali Zafar Saab, Rauf Hassan Saab, and I kept on telling Mr. Imran Khan ji, I want to resign, and he insisted I stay there. तो जिसने मुझे अमानत सौंपी है मैं उसके खिलाफ जा नहीं सकता था। I should have resigned. I wanted to resign. Agreed. और आप बता रहे थे क्या पावर थी मेरे पास?
जी हाँ, आई थिंक वो अगर मैं उसकी डिफरेंट डिटेल्स में आपको 2-3 डिफरेंट पॉइंट्स में डिस्कस करूंगा तो यहाँ की डिबेट कौन सी है वो फिर किसी और की तरफ
नहीं, आप सवाल करें और फिर कहेंगे
जी। मैं सिर्फ आपसे ये कहूँगा कि आपको कुछ सर्व करना चाहिए था,
اپنے پی ٹی آئی ورکرز کے لیے بغیر انڈر پریشر آئے اور آپ کا ایک بیک گراؤنڈ ایک بہت اچھی اور ایک رسپیکٹیبل فیملی سے تھی. سو میں یہ چاہتا ہوں کہ آپ تھوڑا سا صرف یہ ڈسکرائب کر دیں کہ آیا آپ کو پی ٹی آئی کے اوپر ایوری سنگل پرسن کے اوپر جو ظلم اور ستم ڈھایا گیا ہے چن چن کر, اور ڈیورنگ آپ کی جاب کے درمیان یہ سٹارٹ ہو گیا تھا, آپ نے اس کے اوپر کچھ خاص ایسے اقدامات نہیں کیے جس سے اوورسیز کافی مایوس ہو گئے اور لوگوں نے کافی
اقدامات کا پوچھ رہا ہوں کہ کیا پاور تھی, کیا اقدامات کرتا ہے, کیونکہ میری جو کمیونیکیشن پی ٹی آئی کے ساتھ تھی, مجھے عمر ایوب خان سے انہوں نے کہا کہ جی ہم آپ کو خط لکھتے ہیں, میرا ان سے ڈسکشن ہوا, انہوں نے کہا کہ یہ راستہ ہے کہ ہم آپ کو خط لکھیں, آپ draw the attention of the Prime Minister, that's what I can do. I had no executive power, but I had this moral power کہ اگر کوئی مجھے اپیل کرے تو میں گورنمنٹ کو وہ اپیل بھیجوں. تو I sent that appeal to Kakad, I sent that appeal to, I did not send that appeal to Chief Justice Qadi صاحب کیونکہ بدتمیز آدمی تھا, ساری وہ بدتمیزی سے جواب دیتا. اچھا نہیں مانے عمر ایوب, عمران خان سے خط لکھوا دیا اس کو, اس نے بدتمیزی سے جواب دیا, یاد ہے آپ کو, اس نے کہا کہ اس میں تو دستخط بھی نہیں ہے, یہ لایا کون میرے دفتر میں, تو بدتمیز آدمی تھا, تو میں نے اس کو نہیں لکھا, کاکڑ صاحب کو لکھا. اور دس واز اے کنسٹیٹیوشن تھنگ آئی کیپٹ آن ڈوئنگ. کوئی ایگزیکٹو پاور میرے پاس نہیں تھی کہ میں کسی ورکر کے لیے کہوں کہ اس کو چھوڑ دو, اس کو پکڑ دو, ہے نا. انڈائریکٹلی آل دس کمیونیکیشن واز ہیپننگ ود آل دا پیپل. بٹ آپ نے یہ بات بالکل صحیح کہی کہ اللہ نے مجھ سے پوچھا کہ ضرور بہت ساری چیزیں, تو اللہ معاف کرے, میری دعا کیجیے گا کیونکہ میں پورا نہیں اترا.
Thank you, brother. We have more people and we have to finish in 5-10 minutes. So please keep your question short for 1 minute.
ہے نا, ٹکٹ لے کر جو مجھے نقصان ہوا وہ بھی آپ کو پتا ہوگا. تو میں 27 کو آ رہا تھا, میں 22 کو گیا کہ میں اس جلوس میں اس میں شرکت کروں گا. تو میں میری علی امین گنڈاپور صاحب سے بھی بات ہوئی, یہ طے پایا کہ وہ ایک دن یہ پنجاب میں نہیں جائیں گے, 24 کو نہیں جائیں گے, 25 کو جائیں گے یا 26 کو جائیں گے. تو یہ طے ہوا اور میں ان کے ساتھ نکلا, اور 24 کو میں جہاں تک شیلنگ ویلنگ ہو رہی تھی تو تیمور جھاگڑا صاحب کی گاڑی میں تھا. تیمور جھاگڑا نے کہا کہ اگر آپ US جا رہے ہیں, جہاں آپ کا جانا ضروری ہے کہ ڈائسپورا سے ملاقات ہو, تو آپ 25 کی رات کو نکل جائیں. تو 24-25 کی رات کو I came to Peshawar and I came to Karachi. 26 کو یہ قتال ہوا. رات کو جب میں نے 4 بجے صبح دیکھا, میری فلائٹ 11-12 بجے تھی, فلائٹ دیکھا تو میں نے کینسل کر دیا. میں نے کہا کہ یہ مجھے پکڑ لیں گے ایئرپورٹ پر, کہیں گے بھاگ رہا تھا, ہم نے روک لیا, یا یہ کہیں گے بھاگ گیا. تو آئی کینسل آل دوز فلائٹس. بٹ یہ دیکھو, جب مواب ہوتا ہے نا, مواب نکلتا ہے تو کچھ چیز کنٹرول میں نہیں رہتی. میں نے ساری زندگی مواب میں گزاری ہے, مارے کھائی ہیں, ٹیئر گیس کھائی ہے, گولی کھائے بیٹھا ہوں, 2 گولی میرے ہاتھ میں ہیں, کیونکہ ایوب خان کے خلاف بھی میں کھڑا ہو گیا تھا, ہے نا. تو وہاں جب فائرنگ ہوئی تو گولی میرے ہاتھ میں. تو مواب کا کوئی, یہ جو 5 مئی کو ہوا نا, یہ 5 مئی کو, تو میں نے تو سب کو یہ کہا, 9 مئی کو میں نے تو سب کو یہ کہا کہ یہ عمران خان صاحب نے مجھے خود یہ بتایا کہ جی یہ سارا ڈاکٹر صاحب یہ سارا ٹیلرڈ ہے, یہ کیا کہتے ہیں اس کو, فالس فلیگ ہے. تو یہ فالس فلیگ ہوا, یہ کریٹ کیا گیا, مگر مواب جو ویسے ہی سب کچھ, اس کے باوجود یار پی ٹی آئی کے ورکر کو عمل, اس کے باوجود کوئی گملہ نہیں ٹوٹتا تھا. پولیس کی فائرنگ کے باوجود کوئی کسی دکان کا شیشہ نہیں ٹوٹا. پولیس کی فائرنگ اور لڑائی کے باوجود کوئی گاڑی کا شیشہ نہیں ٹوٹا. کین یو امیجن, اتنی بڑی پارٹی اور اتنی ڈسپلنڈ ہو. پیپلز پارٹی کا ایک جلوس بھٹو صاحب کے زمانے میں نکلتا تھا, سارے راستے کی گاڑیاں شاڑیاں سب ٹوٹی ہوئی ہوتی تھی. تو یو شوڈ بی پراؤڈ آف دس پارٹی کہ عمران خان کے کہنے پر پرامن رہی ہے. جانے نثار کی